Once upon a time, there was a version of me who woke up every morning feeling like life was running me over. I'd hit snooze 3 times, scroll through my phone, and rush out the door with a coffee in one hand and stress in the other. Sound familiar? But then, one chilly morning in Chicago, something changed. I was sitting in my car, stuck in traffic, late for work again, and I thought, is this it? Is this how my days are supposed to feel? That was my wake-up call. Not from an alarm, but from my heart. What if I told you that the first 15 minutes of your day could rewrite your entire story? That a simple morning routine could turn chaos into clarity, doubt into confidence, and dreams into reality? In this video, I'm going to share 3 powerful steps to transform your mornings, backed by science and inspired by real people like Sarah, a single mom who went from overwhelmed to unstoppable. You'll learn how to take control of your day, fuel your mind, and build habits that stick, no matter how busy you are. But before we dive in, let me ask you this. What's one thing you wish your mornings could give you? More peace? More focus? Comment below and let's start this journey together. Because trust me, if I could turn my mornings around, so can you. Stay with me, because we're about to make your mornings the best part of your day.
Let me take you back to that moment in Chicago I mentioned earlier. After that traffic jam epiphany, I started noticing something about the people I admired. Folks who seemed to have it all together, who radiated confidence and purpose. They all had one thing in common. They treated their mornings like a secret weapon. You see, your morning isn't just the start of your day. It's the foundation of your life. Science backs this up. A 2018 study from the Journal of Applied Psychology found that people who start their day with intentional routines are 25% more productive than those who don't. Why? Because your brain is like a fresh canvas in the morning. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles planning and focus, is at its peak right after you wake up. Think of it like this. A chaotic morning is like starting a race with your shoelaces untied. You're stumbling before you even begin. You hit snooze, check your phone, and suddenly you're reacting to emails, news, or that one annoying group chat. But a purposeful morning? That's like lacing up your shoes, taking a deep breath, and choosing your pace. You're in control. You're setting the tone. Let me tell you about Sarah, a single mom from Austin, Texas. A year ago, Sarah's mornings were a mess, rushing to get her kids to school, skipping breakfast, feeling like she was always playing catch-up. Then she decided to reclaim her mornings. She started small, 10 minutes of journaling while her coffee brewed, writing down one thing she was grateful for and one goal for the day. That tiny shift changed everything. Within 6 months, Sarah landed a promotion at work because she showed up clearer and more focused. She even started running 5Ks with her kids on weekends. Sarah didn't find more hours in the day, she just used her mornings better. Here's the small lesson I want you to take away. Your morning is your chance to choose who you're becoming. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. or meditate for an hour. Start with one small act that says, "This day belongs to me." So, how do you make that choice? It all starts with the first hour of your day. That golden window when the world hasn't yet pulled you in a million directions. Stay with me, because next, I'm going to show you exactly how to master that first hour and turn it into your biggest advantage. Let's go back to that Chicago morning when I decided to change my life. After that moment in traffic, I started experimenting with my mornings, and I discovered something incredible. The first hour after you wake up is like a golden window. It's this quiet, untouched space where you can take control before the world starts pulling you in every direction. Why is this hour so special? Science has an answer. Your brain's prefrontal cortex, the part that helps you plan, focus, and make decisions, is most active right after you wake up. A 2018 study from the Journal of Applied Psychology found that people who use this hour intentionally are 25% more productive throughout the day. It's like your mind is a blank slate, ready for you to write the story of your day. But here's the catch.
If you fill that slate with noise, scrolling social media, checking emails, or rushing, you're already behind. Think of your first hour like the steering wheel of a car. You can grab it and choose your direction, or you can let the car swerve into chaos. So, what should you do in this golden window? Keep it simple. Start with 5 minutes of silence. No phone, just you and your thoughts. Then, write down 1 or 2 goals for the day. Something as small as, I'll finish that report, or I'll call my mom. Add 10 minutes of reading, maybe a book like Atomic Habits by James Clear. And finally, move your body, even if it's just 5 minutes of stretching or a quick walk around the block. Let me tell you about John, a software engineer from San Francisco. John used to start his mornings by checking work emails in bed, which left him stressed before his feet even hit the floor. Then he tried a new first-hour routine. 5 minutes of deep breathing, 10 minutes of reading a tech blog to spark ideas, and a short walk to clear his head. Within a month, John was pitching better ideas at work and even started a side hustle that's now earning him an extra $1,000 a month. That's the power of the first hour. It doesn't just change your morning, it changes your trajectory. Here's the small lesson I want you to hold on to. The first hour is your time to decide who's in charge, you or the chaos. You don't need a perfect routine, you just need a purposeful one. Start with one small step, like putting your phone across the room so you can't scroll first thing. That's how you take the wheel. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds great, but I'm not a morning person. Don't worry, I wasn't either. Stay with me, because next, we're going to debunk those morning myths and show you how anyone can make this work, no matter your schedule or personality. You know, when I first started fixing my mornings, I almost gave up before I began. Why? Because I kept hearing these voices in my head saying, "You're not a morning person," or "You don't have time for this," or "You'll never stick with it unless it's perfect." Sound like thoughts you've had? Those are myths. Big, sneaky myths that hold us back from transforming our mornings. Let's bust them wide open. First, the biggest myth. You have to be a morning person to have a great morning routine. Not true. Charles Duhigg, in his book The Power of Habit, explains that habits are built through small, repeated actions, not your personality type. Your brain doesn't care if you're a night owl. It can adapt with practice. Second myth. You need hours to make a morning routine work. Wrong again. Even 5 minutes of intentional action, like writing one goal or taking 10 deep breaths, can rewire your brain over time. And the third myth? That your routine has to be perfect. Spoiler alert. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Missing a day doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. Let me tell you about Lisa, a high school teacher from Columbus, Ohio. Lisa thought morning routines were for people with empty schedules and endless energy. As a mom of 2 with a full-time job, she barely had time to brush her teeth. But she decided to try something small. Every morning, while her kids ate breakfast, she'd spend 5 minutes journaling 3 things she was grateful for. No fancy meditation, no hour-long workouts, just 5 minutes. Over a few months, Lisa noticed she felt calmer and more focused at work. Her small routine even inspired her to add a 10-minute walk, which helped her lose 15 pounds. Lisa wasn't a morning person, and her routine wasn't perfect, but it changed her life. Here's the small lesson I want you to take away. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start. Pick one tiny action, like putting your phone out of reach when you wake up, and build from there. Your morning routine isn't a performance, it's a practice. So, now that we've kicked those myths to the curb, how do we make sure our mornings don't slip back into old habits? Stay with me, because next, we're going to talk about replacing those sneaky habits, like hitting snooze or scrolling endlessly, with strategies that set you up to win. You know that moment when your alarm goes off and your hand instinctively reaches for the snooze button? Or when you grab your phone and start scrolling before your eyes are even fully open? I've been there. Trust me. Those little habits might feel harmless, but they're quietly stealing your mornings.
Let's talk about how to replace them with strategies that set you up to win. Here's why these habits hurt. Hitting snooze doesn't just delay your day, it signals to your brain that you're okay with procrastinating. A 2020 study on smartphone addiction showed that checking your phone first thing in the morning spikes your stress levels by flooding your brain with dopamine, leaving you chasing distractions all day. These habits aren't just quirks. They're traps that keep you reacting instead of leading. But the good news? You can swap them out with better ones. Instead of snooze, place your alarm across the room so you have to get up to turn it off. Instead of scrolling, try drinking a glass of water or doing 10 quick squats to wake your body. These small switches create a ripple effect, turning chaos into control. Let me tell you about Mike, a dad from Tampa, Florida. Mike used to hit snooze 5 times every morning, then spend 15 minutes scrolling through Twitter, which left him grumpy and rushed. One day, he decided to try something different. He moved his alarm to the bathroom and committed to splashing cold water on his face as soon as he turned it off. That simple act woke him up, and he added 5 minutes of stretching while his coffee brewed. Within weeks, Mike felt sharper and more patient with his kids. He even started a side hustle designing t-shirts, something he never had the energy for before. Mike didn't overhaul his life. He just replaced 2 bad habits with 2 better ones. Here's the small lesson I want you to carry with you. Bad habits don't define you. They're just choices you can change. Pick one habit, like snooze or scrolling, and replace it with something that lifts you up. It's not about willpower, it's about strategy. Now that we're breaking free from those old traps, what's next? Your morning isn't just about what you don't do. It's about what you feed your mind. Stay with me, because we're about to talk about how to fuel your brain with the right stuff before the world gets in the way. Let's talk about something I learned the hard way. What you feed your mind in the morning shapes your entire day. Back when I was stuck in my old chaotic mornings, I'd start my day scrolling through news feeds or social media. It felt like I was filling my brain with junk food, leaving me anxious and scattered before I even left the house. But then I realized, if I want to show up as my best self, I need to fuel my mind with something better. Your mind is like a garden, and the morning is the perfect time to plant good seeds. A 2017 study from UC Berkeley found that consuming positive, purposeful content, like books or podcasts, can boost your mood and sharpen your focus for hours. But when you start with junk, like clickbait headlines or endless TikTok videos, you're handing your brain over to distractions. The fix? Spend just 10 minutes feeding your mind something that inspires or teaches you. Try reading a few pages of a book like The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, listening to a podcast like How I Built This, or even watching a short TED Talk. It's like giving your brain a nutrient-packed breakfast instead of a sugar crash. Let me tell you about Emily, a graphic designer from Seattle. Emily used to kick off her mornings by checking Instagram, which left her comparing herself to others and feeling drained. Then she made a small change. She swapped scrolling for 10 minutes of reading Atomic Habits every morning. Those pages gave her ideas to organize her work and pitch bolder designs. Within 3 months, Emily landed her biggest client ever, a project that doubled her income. She told me, "Those 10 minutes didn't just change my mornings. They changed how I see myself." Here's the small lesson I want you to take with you. What you feed your mind first thing in the morning becomes the fuel for your day. Choose something that lifts you up, even if it's just a few pages or a quick podcast. It's not about having hours. It's about making those minutes count. Now, fueling your mind is a great start, but your morning can be even more powerful when you pair it with movement. Stay with me, because next, we're going to talk about how a little motion can spark big energy and momentum for your day. You know how some mornings you feel like you're dragging yourself through quicksand? I used to feel that way too, until I discovered a game changer, moving my body first thing in the morning. It's like flipping a switch that lights up your energy and sets the whole day in motion. Let's talk about why a little movement can make such a big difference. Here's the deal. Even a few minutes of movement wakes up your body and mind in ways coffee alone can't. A 2019 study in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise found that just 5 minutes of light activity, like stretching or walking, boosts endorphins and clears mental fog. It's like hitting the reset button on your energy levels. Compare that to staying slumped in bed or on the couch, where your body feels heavy and your mind stays stuck. Movement doesn't have to be intense. You don't need a gym or a marathon plan. Try 5 minutes of yoga with a YouTube video like Yoga with Adrienne, 10 push-ups by your bed, or a quick walk around your backyard. It's about sparking momentum, not chasing perfection. Let me tell you about Anna, a nurse from Denver, Colorado. Anna's mornings were exhausting. She'd rush to her hospital shift after barely getting out of bed. She felt drained before her day even started. Then she tried something simple. Every morning, she'd spend 5 minutes stretching in her living room while her tea steeped. That small habit gave her a burst of energy, and soon she added a 10-minute walk around her neighborhood. Within a couple of months, Anna felt more alert during her shifts and even started a weekly hiking group with friends. She told me, "Those 5 minutes of stretching didn't just wake my body. They woke up my whole outlook." Here's the small lesson I want you to hold on to. A little movement goes a long way. You don't need to be a fitness guru. Just move your body for 5 minutes to spark energy and momentum. It's like giving your day a running start. Now we've fueled our minds and sparked our bodies, but there's one more piece to make your mornings unstoppable: connecting your heart to your purpose. Stay with me, because next we're going to talk about how gratitude and goals can anchor your day and lift your dreams higher. There's something magical about starting your day with a moment to ground yourself and dream big. When I first started rebuilding my mornings, I discovered 2 simple practices that became my anchor and my compass: gratitude and goals. These aren't just tasks. They're a way to connect your heart to what matters and point your day toward what you want to achieve. Let's unpack why they're so powerful. Gratitude and goals work together like the roots and wings of a tree. A 2017 study from UC Berkeley found that writing down 3 things you're grateful for can rewire your brain for positivity, reducing stress and boosting happiness for hours. It grounds you in the present, reminding you what's already good, like your family, your health, or even that perfect cup of coffee. Goals, on the other hand, give you direction. Writing 1 or 2 specific goals, like, "I'll finish that presentation today," or "I'll go for a 10-minute walk," focuses your energy and turns your dreams into action. Without gratitude, you might chase goals and still feel empty. Without goals, gratitude can feel aimless. Together, they balance you. Here's how it works in practice. Take 3 minutes to journal. Write 3 things you're thankful for. Be specific, like, "I'm grateful for my sister's encouraging text yesterday." Then, jot down 1 or 2 goals for the day, like, "I'll call a client by noon." Keep it simple. Keep it clear. Let me tell you about David, a small business owner from Nashville, Tennessee. A couple of years ago, David was struggling after a tough breakup. His mornings felt heavy, and his business was slipping. Then he started a tiny habit. Every morning, he'd write 3 things he was grateful for, like his dog's wagging tail or a sunny day, and 1 goal, like, "I'll reach out to 1 new customer." That practice gave him clarity and purpose. Within 6 months, David not only rebuilt his confidence, but grew his business by 30%. He told me, "Gratitude kept me grounded, and goals pushed me forward. It was like finding my balance again." Here's the small lesson I want you to carry with you. Gratitude anchors your heart, and goals lift your sights. Spend a few minutes each morning to appreciate what you have and decide what you want. Those minutes will shape your day and your life. Now, we've got a powerful morning toolkit, fueling our minds, moving our bodies, and anchoring our hearts. But how do you make this routine your own? Stay with me, because next, we're going to talk about how to customize your morning to fit your life so it's sustainable and feels just right. You know, when I first started building my morning routine, I made a big mistake. I tried to copy the routines of CEOs and influencers, thinking their 4 a.m. wake-ups and hour-long meditations were the only way. Spoiler alert, they weren't for me. That's when I learned the real secret to a morning routine. It's not about following someone else's playbook. It's about building one that fits you, your life, your goals, your schedule. Here's why customization matters. A routine that doesn't fit your lifestyle is like wearing someone else's shoes. They might look nice, but you'll trip. If you're a busy parent, a 60-minute routine might be impossible, but 10 minutes of journaling while the kids eat breakfast? That's doable. If you're a student, maybe it's 15 minutes of reviewing notes before class. The key is to make it sustainable. Start by picking your top priority. Maybe it's health, career, or mental clarity. Then, choose one small habit that aligns with it, like a 5-minute walk for health or reading a page for career growth. Add more only when you're ready. Compare that to copying a celebrity's routine, which often leads to burnout because it wasn't built for your life. Let me tell you about Rachel, a college student from Portland, Oregon. Rachel wanted a morning routine but felt overwhelmed by videos of elaborate setups. With exams and a part-time job, she had no time for hour-long rituals. So she customized. Every morning, she spent 5 minutes doing a quick stretch from a YouTube video and wrote one study goal, like review biology notes by 10 a.m. That routine fit her hectic life, and it paid off. Rachel aced her finals and even started a study group that boosted her confidence. Rachel didn't need a perfect routine. She needed one that worked for her. Here's the small lesson I want you to take away. Your morning routine should feel like home, not a hurdle. Start with one habit that fits your life and build from there. It's your routine, your rules. Now, you've got the tools to craft a routine that's uniquely yours. But what happens when life throws obstacles in your way? Stay with me, because next, we're going to talk about how to stick with your routine, no matter what challenges come up. Let's be real. Building a morning routine isn't always smooth sailing. There are days when you oversleep, the kids are screaming, or you just don't feel like doing it. I've had those days too, times when I slip back into hitting snooze or skipping my journal. But here's the thing, obstacles don't mean you failed, they're just part of the journey. Let's talk about how to push through and stick with your routine. Why do we stumble? Charles Duhigg, in The Power of Habit, explains that habits take time to solidify, anywhere from 21 to 66 days, depending on the person. Life throws curveballs, like a late night or a stressful week, that can derail you. The key is to plan for those bumps. First, start small. Commit to just one habit, like 5 minutes of stretching, so it's easier to stay consistent. Second, use a trigger. Tie your routine to something you already do, like journaling right after brushing your teeth. Third, forgive yourself when you slip. A 2019 study from the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that self-compassion, accepting that misses happen, makes you twice as likely to get back on track. Compare that to beating yourself up, which just makes you want to quit. Let me tell you about Maria, a barista from Phoenix, Arizona. Maria wanted a morning routine to feel more in control, but her early shifts and unpredictable schedule kept tripping her up. She'd miss her routine and feel like a failure. Then she tried a new approach. She scaled back to one habit, writing one thing she was grateful for on a sticky note while her coffee brewed. She stuck the note on her fridge as a trigger to keep going. On tough days, she'd remind herself, "It's okay, I'll try again tomorrow." That mindset helped her stay consistent, and soon she added a quick walk. A year later, Maria saved enough to enroll in a photography course, something she'd dreamed of for years. Her secret? She didn't let obstacles stop her. She worked around them. Here's the small lesson I want you to hold on to. Obstacles are just detours, not dead ends. Start small, use a trigger, and be kind to yourself when you slip. That's how you keep going.
Your routine isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Now that you've got the tools to push through challenges, it's time to bring it all together and see how your mornings can transform your life. Stay with me, because we're wrapping up with a vision of what your mornings and your future can become. So, we've talked about fueling your mind, moving your body, practicing gratitude, and overcoming obstacles. Now it's time to put it all into action with a challenge that can change your mornings and your life in just 7 days. I'm talking about the 7-day morning challenge, and trust me, it's simpler than you think. Let's dive in and get you started today. Why 7 days? Science shows it's the perfect length to kickstart a habit. A 2020 study in behavioral science found that short, focused challenges boost motivation and make new habits feel achievable. Here's how it works. For the next 7 days, commit to a 15-minute morning routine. Day 1, start with 5 minutes of movement, like stretching or a quick walk. Day 2, add 3 minutes of gratitude. Write down one thing you're thankful for. Day 3, swap 3 minutes of phone scrolling for reading a book or listening to a podcast. By day 7, you'll mix and match. A bit of movement, gratitude, and mind-fueling content tailored to you. Keep it simple. And if you miss a day, just pick up where you left off. Think of it like planting a seed. Each day, you're watering it a little more. Let me tell you about Jamal, a retail manager from Atlanta, Georgia. Jamal was skeptical about morning routines. His days were packed and he thought he didn't have time. But he took on a 7-day challenge. He started with 5 minutes of jumping jacks, then added writing one gratitude note like, "I'm thankful for my team at work." By the end of the week, he was reading a leadership book for 5 minutes each morning. That small commitment gave him a boost of confidence. A month later, Jamal was promoted to regional manager, and he credits those 7 days for helping him show up sharper and more focused. Jamal didn't need a perfect plan, he just needed a start. Here's the small lesson I want you to carry with you. 7 days can change your mornings, and your mornings can change your life. Start small, stay consistent, and watch how those minutes add up to something big. You've got everything you need to start this challenge, but let's tie it all together with a vision of what your mornings can become. Stay with me, because we're about to wrap up with a powerful reminder of why your mornings are your greatest asset.